What's up guys, it's me, EvilSoft13, and I'm back with another video. So for this video, as you all know, this is my new series on YouTube. This is my CG art series. In this case, to be more exact, this is my second official character model. If you guys haven't seen my first official character model, which was Edward Skinner Gennard, please check that out. So as you all know, this is Still Rain. Before we actually talk about anything else, let's talk about that one intro that you guys just saw. So that was one hell of an intro. As you all know, that was a project that I did back in my advanced motion graphics class. So I made that a couple weeks ago from today. I think that was week 5 or something, I can't remember, but it was a couple weeks ago. So I did it, that was actually for a class. I pretty much did it on Still Rain based on renders. So we pretty much had to make a movie title sequence, and I chose my official character, my second official character, Still Rain. You know, why not? It's a pretty badass character in my opinion. But yeah, that was for a class, and I think that was a pretty awesome way to get this video started. Alright, but yeah, so as you all know, chapter skips are always in the description of my long videos, okay? So I don't expect you guys to watch this whole entire video in its entirety. If you guys do, that's awesome. Thank you for watching it in its entirety, and thank you for having the patience. You know, it's not easy watching a video like this where I sit there and talk, you know. It really isn't for everyone. But yeah, anyways, chapter skips are always on the description, okay? So you guys can pretty much skip to wherever you want, whichever part you want to see, okay? Cool. So let's talk about Still Rain real quick, okay? Let me just get some things out of the way before we get this video started. Still Rain is, as you all know, my very first hard surface character. If you guys don't know what hard surface means, it's pretty much hard surface, like, you know, metal, mechanical, robots, you know, that's pretty much hard surface. The opposite of hard surface is organic, and that's pretty much, obviously, as you all know, that's flesh. You know, anything humanoid, zombies, you know, that's all, you know, aliens, those are all organics, okay? In this case, this is hard surface. As you all know, Still Rain is a ninja who turned himself into a robot, okay? That's that. This is my very first hard surface character, so there will be some faults, but above all, the finished version is so good, like, in my opinion. It's one of the best things I've created CG wise, and it took a lot of weeks to do, so hopefully you guys like it. As you all know, another thing I should also mention is Still Rain is pretty much he's inspired by Iron Man, Crisis, the nanosuit in Crisis, Sector from Mortal Kombat, and Darth Vader. Can you guys believe it? All those things, those are pretty much all those things I just mentioned. They're pretty much my inspirations for making Still Rain happen, okay? So I pretty much took bits and pieces of what I like from Iron Man, the Crisis nanosuit, Sector from Mortal Kombat, and Darth Vader. So I pretty much took those things and combined it, you know, because I've always wanted to make a cybernetic ninja of some sort. I've always wanted to do that, and I lacked the knowledge and imagination, I guess, at the time. But now that I'm a bit older, and now that I'm a bit more experienced on CG art and 3D modeling, I think I'm pretty confident on making something this massive and complex. So that's that. And throughout this video as well, you guys will also realize that I used a lot of techniques that I've never used, because, you know, it's a bit different when you guys are sculpting an organic character model versus a hard surface character model. So throughout this video, I'll definitely be showing you guys the workflows that I used to create the armor pieces and whatnot, just to get a broad view of what I used. When it comes to techniques, I used the Z remesher. That's pretty much a new feature in the new ZBrush R4R6. It pretty much it retopos your geometry for you. So that's my first time using it. I'll be honest with you guys right now, I messed up on it. I made the armor pieces a bit too dense, so that kind of costed me a bit. But you know, it's my first time using it. I think the biggest technique that I use to create the armor pieces is the extract method. The extract method is something that ZBrush always had. Even Maya has it. It's pretty much where you select your geometry and you click extract, and it pretty much extracts the polys for you. It extracts it into a different piece, a different extruded piece. So what does that mean? It's pretty much saying you can pretty much make clothes and armor that way, based on the base mesh. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty much how I made the armor. You guys will pretty much see that in the video. Those are pretty much the two main techniques I used. I'll definitely go over some more techniques once we see the time-lapse sculpting. Okay. Also, usually at the end of every character model video that I do, I usually have a segment at the end in which you guys see the character model in its finished entirety in this program right here, if you guys can see it, called the Marmoset Toolbag. In this case, for Still Rain, I will not be able to import him to Marmoset Toolbag. Oh my god, wow, I cannot speak. In this case, in this video, you guys will not see me use Marmoset Toolbag for Still Rain, and the reason why is because, like I said, I kind of messed up on the geometry on the armor for Still Rain. As a result, programs such as that are a bit slow due to the amount of geometry I have, and that's the only thing I messed up on this character, is the way how I remeshed the armor. So unfortunately, you guys will not see Still Rain with awesome interactive lighting in Marmoset Toolbag, so that's a bit of a letdown to some of you. But the finished version of Still Rain is still obviously a must, and I think it's still worth it at the end. Okay. Also, one thing that I decide to do for when it comes to these character modeling videos is I kind of don't want to force you guys to. I kind of don't want to include the bio, because as you all know, these characters that I create, they all have bios in them, and I usually tell them to you guys in video form, as I'm doing right now, as I'm talking to you all right now. I kind of don't want to force that on you. I figured if you guys want to check out the bio for any of these characters, I think you guys should totally just check them out on your own. I'll definitely have a link for that in the description below. So pretty much for my future character modeling videos, you will not hear me talk about the bio. Okay, you will not hear me read to you guys the bio in video, because I think that's just ridiculous. I think you guys, if you guys really want to know the bio for these characters, the origin stories, I think you guys should totally just do that on your own. I really don't want to waste a lot of time in these videos, because I really don't want them to be a lot longer than they already are. Okay, so if you guys want to check out the bio, the origin and story behind this character model that I'm about to create, that I'm about to show to you guys, there's definitely a link in the description below for that. Okay, that will lead you to the story. So please check that out. It's a must read. Okay, definitely. And to start things off, let's get started. So as you all know, like I said, Still Rain is an inspiration to Iron Man, The Crisis, Nanosuit, Sector from Mortal Kombat, and Darth Vader. Those are obviously mainstream references, as I call them. There's also some references that I did when it comes to armor design. Okay, so here they are. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. So let's zoom in a bit. So as you all know, these are armor designs from Bungie's latest game that's coming out in 2014, I believe. This is Destiny. So notice how each design has its own way, has its own way to project its attitude. As you can tell, some of these characters are just so well designed, I don't even know how to explain them. So I pretty much took the design of these characters. I pretty much studied armor designs for a while before I started getting into the nooks and cranny of designing Still Rain for myself. And I realized, as you all know, some of you might be realizing, or some of you might be questioning yourselves, if I were to make a character like this with armor, where does the armor go? Believe me, I had the same exact question, just like that. And for when it comes to placing the armor, I mean, it's quite obvious if you look at these pictures right here. The armor that you guys see are pretty much in the same place. Well, except for this. I don't know why I saved this as a reference, but I guess it looks cool. But when it comes to armor, notice how all the armor is pretty much in the same place. Pretty much what I'm saying is notice how there's always armor on the kneecap, the upper leg, the quadriceps, on the shin, the hand, the forearm, the biceps. Oh, I'm sorry, not that. In this case, it's not for the biceps. It's for the deltoids, the muscle, or the shoulder muscles. You obviously have armor on the chest. You obviously have a helmet. You even have a helmet for the pelvis area, you know, to protect your family jewels, obviously. Who doesn't know that? What I'm trying to say is, folks, armor is pretty much armor. The reason why do we wear armor? To protect our bones, our flesh. And if you guys are having trouble where to put armor, it's quite easy. You pretty much place armor in the areas where you want to protect, you know? Forearm, the hand, your pelvic region, your head. So hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. It's quite a simple concept when it comes to designing armor. Knowing where the armor goes. You know, the armor goes in the areas where you want there to be protection. And I kind of figured that out in just a day. So I kind of want to know what I wanted to do. So here are some more references of Bungie's Destiny. These are all pretty sweet. I don't know about you guys. All these armor designs are just awesome. They're so complex, but yet some of them are so simple. They're effective. This is actually a huge inspiration for my design when it comes to designing the armor for Still Rain. I don't know, like when it comes to Still Rain, remember, Still Rain is a ninja. He is a blind ninja who turned himself into a robot. Again, more info on the origin of this character model, please check it out on the description below, okay? If you guys want a full written biography on this character, it's all in there. So just check it out in the description below, alright? When it comes to Still Rain, he is a blind ninja who turned himself into a robot. So if you think about it, armor such as this is not really applicable. It's not really applicable. The reason why is because, remember, if you're a ninja, you really want to move yourself. You know, you really want to be movable. What I mean by that is the armor for a ninja has to be slim. It has to be lightweight. As you can see, some of these aren't even lightweight. Like this, you see how the shoulder is all you see how the shoulder has this thing right here. That's not really necessary for a ninja. You know, it's not really characteristic, I guess, because remember, if you're a ninja, you want to move fast. So at the same time, you want armor that's really slim and lightweight. So that obviously affected how I designed Still Rain. Alright, so that's pretty much the references. Hopefully you guys get an idea. Remember, references are key when it comes to designing characters. Okay, you guys always need reference. You will always need reference to do these things. Okay, so that's that. So now I believe let's get started. Remember, chapterscapes are in the description below. You really don't have to watch all of this, everything that I'm about to show you guys. Okay, you guys can pretty much skip. All right, so that's it for the references. Let's get started on Still Rain. All right, folks. So let's get started on this. So as you can see, this is the modified placebo male mesh for my characters. This is for the sake of me not having to make a new mesh for each and every character that I do. That's just ridiculous. You know, so I'm pretty much taking a shortcut to this. So as you can see, this is the first, now we just subdivided, as you can tell. Those things that you guys see on the body, like the torso, as well as the kneecaps, that's pretty much rubberized armor. It's pretty much hard plastic. It's pretty much hard flexible rubber. It's not really made of metal, and that's part of the design for Still Rain, as you can tell. So as you can see, none of the armor has been sculpted. I am just simply going over Still Rain as if he had no armor, and in fact he doesn't have armor in this case. So notice here I'm sculpting the eyes. Remember, he is a blind ninja. I'm not gonna tell you guys how he got blind. Please just read the bio in the description, okay? All right. So he's blind pretty much, and I'm pretty much sculpting his eyes right here, making his cheeks a bit more angular for a really serious look, I guess. So notice how I'm sculpting over the nasal fold, I believe, if that's what's called. Going over the cheeks, adjusting the eyes, and we're lowering down to a subdivision so we can actually have more control over the structure. So again, when it comes to CG modeling, you have to concentrate on the base structure first, similar to how clay works. And in this case, I'm not doing the details yet. We are so low poly, how can we do the details? So now I'm doing the chest muscles, pectorals, nice pecs right there, as well as the collarbone. So notice how everything's starting to shape up, adding some muscle mass right there. I believe I'm using the clay tubes brush on ZBrush. Oh, I'm sorry, I think it's the I forgot what it's called. It's the other one, the square one, that's much more destructive. Whatever, I forgot. But yeah, I think I used clay tubes as well. So I'm pretty much sculpting the muscles right here. Notice how you see the shoulder muscles now, you know, the biceps. See how it's clearer right there? And I'm pretty much having fun right here. Notice how that's a bit extruding out. I believe I fixed that later on. Sculpting the back with the shoulder blades. So everything's pretty much shaping up. This is pretty much what Still Rain looks like without his armor. And also to get things out of the way, I don't want you guys to get confused. What you're seeing right here, this is Still Rain with his synchronization suit. It's pretty much cybernetic skin. It allows him to feel his sense of touch even more. Like Daredevil, but times 20 in a more technological advancement kind of, you know, atmosphere. And this suit that I'm sculpting right now, this is actually skin tight, and again, it's wired up to his armor, and that's pretty much how his senses are heightened up. Okay. And if you guys want to know why he's called Still Rain, again, check it out on the description below. You just read the origin story behind that. And here I'm sculpting the hands. I'm still having trouble trying to figure out how to sculpt hands. The hands are a pretty tricky mass, you know. Whether if you guys are doing it in CG form or in clay, the hands are always pretty tricky in my opinion, because there's so many segments on the fingers. You got to get the proportion right and stuff. Here we are sculpting the legs, just going over the mass right here, making it very muscly, I guess. We're trying to get rid of that blocky look, and that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. And notice I'm sculpting the heel right there, the Achilles, the tendon that runs up the leg. So everything's starting to look good. You can definitely see some mass going on right there. And you guys have no idea how helpful this placebo thing is for me. Like, I really don't have to sculpt a new base mesh for each character that I do. So this serves as my primary mesh. And what's cool about it is that I can always update it. Because as you all know, I'm not the best modeler. I still have to, study a lot of stuff when it comes to modeling in Maya. You know, like ears, noses. That's stuff that I still have to master for myself. So it's always good to have a mesh to do that for you. You know. Now we're going fast. I don't know what the hell just happened. Oh yeah, that's right. I believe we're in the texturing stage right now. As you can see, if you guys look closely, notice how there's a texture on the suit itself. That's what I'm talking about when I said that part of this was inspired by the Crisis nanosuit. because it has that, you know, that typical octagon, or I'm sorry, it has that typical hexagon pattern, so it really gives it that mechanical look at the end. Not a mechanical look, more of like a futuristic look, as you all may see. So now I'm doing the mechanical cuts right there on the rib cage, as you all just saw. The face is a lot more detailed. Notice how I did the rubberized hand guards. Everything is pretty much detailed. And the synchronization suit is pretty much done. This is what he looks like without his armor. And notice how there's nubs now. That's pretty much where the armor is hooked up. Similar to how the Matrix is, you know. I think that's where I got it from. The Matrix. You know, you notice how in the Matrix they have to hook themselves up, similar to this fashion. So now we're doing the torso. So this is pretty much how I got the armor. I didn't extract it from the body. I pretty much already did it as a base mesh. So notice how I'm pretty much shaping it up now, making it nice and hard edged. I believe I was using the clay polish tool. Yeah, there you go, clay polish. It pretty much polishes it for you. It makes it really really smooth and hard edged. And this is the part where I extract. Notice how I'm masking certain areas out. That's pretty much where the armor plate is being produced. And here we are with the spine. I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just doing whatever looks cool. Okay? But at the same time, I really don't want to go over the top with this armor design, because remember what I said, ninja, a robotic ninja, that's something you really have to think about on, because remember, he's a ninja. He can't have heavy armor on. It just doesn't make sense. And also, the reason why we are starting on the torso first, because if you think about it, the torso is the most complex and the most biggest armor piece there is when it comes to doing armor. So if you think about it, whatever the torso is, whatever the style and complexity of the torso, that's pretty much what the entire armor is going to be. Okay, so it's all going to be in the based on the style of the torso. So notice how I just extruded and extracted some armor plates. Also, I also used the crop tool. You pretty much draw a line and it crops it for you. It's the slice tool. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. It's pretty much used for hard surface stuff. And also, if you guys saw there a glimpse of it, I drew the mechanical lines for more detail, similar to how I have it on the pelvis area. See how there's lines? Yeah, that's pretty much mechanical lines, mech lines as they call it. And now I'm doing the side skirts, as I call it. I have no idea what these armor pieces are actually called, but they're pretty much exterior pieces to make it look even more complex. And I pretty much duplicated it, moved it down, duplicated it, moved it down. That's pretty much the routine for this. And as you all know, one of the main elements of art is repetition. If you want to make someone look good, repeat a particular detail over and over again. You guys have no idea how big of a help that is. And notice how the torso is starting to get shapen up. You see those, I don't know what to call those. It really gives it that samurai look. The Asian samurai look. You guys know what I mean? Around the shoulders right there, as you all can see. The way it's organized, the way it's shaped. If you guys look at samurai armor, it actually has something similar to that. So it's kind of cool that I came up with that right in the spot. And here is the exterior piece for the neck area. Again, just to add a little bit more complexity to this. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And here's another external piece in the back of the neck. Really looking good right here. I try to make it angular to really give it that menacing look. Oh yeah, also, if you guys are wondering, is Still Rain a bad guy? It's up to you. I mean, he's just a hell-bent ninja. He wants revenge from the person who blinded him, as well as the person who trained him to be a ninja. Okay? So here are some more armor plates in the torso area. I drew the mechanical lines right there, making it look good. So you guys can obviously tell the difference of repeating armor pieces, because as you all know right now, I really didn't have to do this piece that I'm doing right now. Notice how I'm pretty much duplicating the pieces and resizing them to my will. That's pretty much the secret when it comes to complexity. And here comes the Iron Man part. I believe I added some LED lights right there. You guys aren't going to see the LED lights till later, I believe, when I'm actually rendering this out and adding the materials and everything. So here's another piece in the torso. Notice how there's so many pieces in the torso. That's the reason why I started on the torso. And I believe we are done on the torso. Notice how there's bolts now. You guys didn't actually see me place it there, but they're there. Now we're doing the armor, or the armor. Starting off with the shoulder pad. So similar to how I'm trying to get it similar to the torso. It's obviously not going to be as complex as the torso, but I kind of want it to be in a similar style. So notice how I'm pretty much polishing it, making it look hard edged. And there you go. What's actually cool about this is that if I ever decide on making an alternate paint job for his armor, I can add like an emblem right there, right in that pad right there. So it should look pretty cool. Everything is all smoothened out. Gave it another clay polish touch right there. Notice how everything's all rough edged all of a sudden. And here are the external pieces. These are the extra pieces for the shoulder armor right there. And everything's looking good so far. I don't know about you guys. Also, notice how I'm pretty much extracting everything. When you extract something, it pretty much destroys your subdivision levels. So that's the reason why I used the Z remesher to lower down the subdivisions. I should have lowered it down even more, but you know, everyone learns from mistakes. But I'm still proud of this character model, whether you guys like it or not. So I may have messed up on the geometry, but above all, this is one badass character. So now we are doing the biceps. Drew the mech lines, duplicated it. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much the nature of this. You know, if you guys ever want to do something cybernetic or mech-like, as I'm doing here, repeating pieces is the key to making it look good. And here it kind of has that Batman-esque kind of armor style to it. Even in the comics, Batman, he has those 3 blades coming out from his forearm. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And I think I did something similar to that right here. So I'm pretty much just shaping up the forearms right here. And notice the bolts on the shoulder and biceps now. Again, you guys aren't going to see the bolts. You guys aren't going to see me placing the bolts. I did that in my own time. And I believe we're about to extract. Oh no, we're not. We're still sculpting. We're still sculpting the forearm, trying to get a good shape to it. So again, I'm pretty sure you guys realize I have no idea what I'm doing right now. You know, when it comes to being an artist, you gotta admit you don't really know what you're doing most of the time. You know, you're kind of just going along with the flow, seeing if something looks good or not. You're making decisions as you go. That's pretty much what an artist does. As you all know, this was all based on imagination and through reference. I didn't have an actual design that I drew of Still Rain. I'm doing this based on what I had in my head at the time. So here we go again with the repetition. It's pretty much the same piece repeated. And I drew some mech lines right there, some fine mech lines. Also, notice the hand guards on the arms. It really adds a nice touch to it. So pretty much what I'm sculpting right now, From here on out, whatever it is I'm sculpting, it's pretty much made of metal, okay? The stuff that you guys saw on the body before all this armor pieces were being sculpted, that's pretty much rubber, okay? So it's not metal. Here I'm pretty much sculpting the belt. I don't really know if you would consider it a belt, but I consider it a belt. So here's the pelvic armor right there. Just designing some stuff, seeing whatever looks good. And to my surprise, it actually looks good. See, there you go. Repetition. You just have to repeat the same piece over and over. You may even resize it if you want. Adding some more pieces, some more plates. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the legs. The legs are probably one of the toughest to design, because you kind of have to play around with what looks good and what doesn't. And not only that, you have to match the style to the rest of the entire armors that you just created. So that was pretty tricky, in my opinion. And there you go, nice and smooth. Everything's looking good. And notice how also in ZBrush I changed the material to make it resemble more of a armor, you know? Here it is. The legs are starting to shape up. I'm just polishing it right now, giving it that nice hard edge look. Gave it that nice thick mechanical line right there. See that? Those lines right there. That's pretty much part of doing your mechanical design. Also, if you guys are wondering, I'm actually using customized brushes for this. My teacher from a long time ago, in the ZBrush class that I took, he pretty much lended us a separate kit designed primarily just for sculpting robots and such. So I'm pretty much putting that to good use here. So now we have finished the legs, or the upper legs at least. We're sculpting the kneecaps now, which shouldn't take a while. I believe I only had one external piece for this, or two. And notice how the upper legs match the whole entire armor set. That was pretty tricky to do. And you know, it's just designing armor. Designing armor in general is tricky, because you really have to make it look like everything is all in place. So notice how I masked. You guys saw that when I was masking it. That's pretty much what you have to do when extracting. You have to mask an area, and you pretty much extract it into its own separate mesh. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here. Just polishing some areas, drew some lines, and bam, there's your kneecap. So now we are moving on to the lower leg, the shin, the calf. Here we are. So I'm trying to make it look like the upper leg as seen right there. So I'm just sculpting some stuff, doing some clay polish here on there. One thing I also messed up on when doing armor was not turning on the back face culling. Oh, I'm sorry, the back face masking. As you all know, the back face masking is pretty much a type of mask in which it doesn't mask the back face. I don't know why I didn't do that. Like, I forgot. I think that's part of the problem why my geometry on the final version of Still Rain was so dense. And oh yeah, here it is. Here's the foot, the feet armor. This is actually, I mean, it is made of metal, but when I'm gonna rig this on a later video, or later on this year when I take demo, when I rig this, I want it to bend similar to how the feet are bending, you know? As seen right there. So now I'm just drawing some lines because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to make it look good, make it match the style of the armor. And here we go, we duplicated it as seen right there. And there you go. Those are the armor for the feet. Now here's the fun part. I saved the helmet for last. Notice how the helmet is actually in 3 different pieces, and the reason why I did that is so that I can make it so that he can remove his faceplate. You know, so how cool would that be? I really can't wait to see the final version for this. Right now I really wanted to give it that menacing look, but at the same time I really don't want him to look evil, you know. So right now I'm just having fun right here. You guys can obviously tell I'm having fun. It's just, you know, making the armor, I'm making the helmet look good. I saved the helmet for last because I know that was like the most fun to sculpt. Notice how he has 3 eyes. He actually only has 2. The one in the middle is actually in charge for his infrared. Also, his helmet is the reason why he can see through electric impulses, you know, heat signatures. So he may be a blind ninja, but the technology that he's wearing right now, he's pretty much the perfect assassin, to be honest. You know. Also, speaking of perfect assassin, since he is the perfect assassin, he has never gotten hit at least once. You have to make his armor look shiny. You know, you really don't want it to have as much scratches. Remember, he's a perfect ninja. He's the perfect assassin. So if you're the perfect assassin, you really don't get hit as much by bullets and whatnot. So his armor is pretty much sparkly clean. Okay? So those are the small details that you guys have to realize when designing characters. Here, I'm just adding some extra stuff. And the reason why I say Darth Vader, because notice how Darth Vader has like that little hood at the top of his forehead. And I think I did something similar here, as you can tell. So I'm pretty much adding some more lines. I'm sculpting a secondary jaw. So this is a separate piece right here from the jaw, making it look fairly pointed and angular. And above all, this looks badass. Look at that. And now we're sculpting the weapons. I really didn't want to make the weapons too complex like the armor. I really wanted to make it basic, similar to like a lightsaber in Star Wars. I really wanted this to be basic. Notice how it's not just a sword that has lasers on it. It's also a piercing sword. And now I'm doing the shurikens right here. So these are remote control. He can pretty much, these shurikens themselves are, they're pretty much synchronized so that he's able to control them based on his helmet, through his helmet. So pretty much what you guys are seeing here, everything is all technologically advanced. Alright? And I believe we're done sculpting the armor as well as the weapons. We are now heading towards the painting stage, in which I come up with a paint scheme for Still Rain. Alright, so now let's get started with the paint job, the paint scheme. As you all know, he's a ninja. You guys can obviously tell what kind of colors I want for him. Okay, I really want him to be very dark, not black, because that's just ridiculous. You're not going to see the details by just that. So here we're starting off with the synchronization suit. Notice how I masked it off based on the detail. So now you can really see the hexagons, you know, the texture. So this is pretty much what he looks like without his armor on. This is his raw suit. Think of it like Zero Suit Samus, you know, from Nintendo. That's pretty much him right here. So I'm pretty much adding a darker color on the rubber parts right here. Very, very cool. I also emphasized on the nubs that you guys see, those synchronization holes that I'm about to do right now. There you go, see? I made them lighter so you guys can see them. Make it look nice and metallic. Adding some lines to really bring out the mechanical lines. And there you go. All it is just gray with white. You know, it's pretty much a variant for all those colors in between. And that's pretty much what makes this pop out. And now we're about to do the face, I believe. The face was really interesting to work with because I actually used an Asian man's face and imprinted it onto the model. And you guys are about to see that right about now. And there you go. See how... The reason why it didn't record that, because it doesn't really record anything. ZBrush doesn't record outside of ZBrush. So I pretty much did all that in Photoshop. So you notice how it has a realistic skin tone. The reason why it has a realistic skin tone is because I actually used a real face to texture it. So now I'm pretty much going over the eyes, making it nice and disgusting, I guess, but not quite. Now you guys are actually seeing those lines from the head, and if you guys are wondering what those lines are, those are pretty much to emphasize that he's not really human anymore. He's completely a robot with a human face, like RoboCop, you know. And those nice cylindrical things that you guys see coming from the forehead, those are actually optical wires that's hooked on to his back brain. That's pretty much hooked onto his helmet. Okay, those are optic cables. It's pretty much part of the upgrade that he got when turning himself into a ninja robot. So now here's the fun part. We're now starting on the paint scheme on the torso. It's pretty much a nice light gray metallic, and I'm pretty much going over the areas with darker gray to really bring out the details and to really make it stand from a distance, you know. I could have just painted all the armor with just gray and that's it and leave it like that, but I really wanted to make it look good. Okay, and it does look good. And those balls that you guys see right there, those are the LED lights that will glow once I've set up the materials in Maya. And there you go. Just painting on the torso, looking good. Notice the difference. If I just made this one color, it really isn't going to look that much interesting. Now we are painting the shoulders right here, as you can tell. Doing the same thing, doing the same paint scheme for the torso. Biceps are getting painted right there. Notice how the lines, you can actually see the mechanical lines now right there, because I actually added a darker color to them, which is good, so you can obviously see them from a distance. And I just love the texture that I did for the synchronization suit. You can see, if you guys look closer, you guys can see the hexagon shapes underneath the armor. It just adds so much to the character as well as the design. So now we're doing the waist, the pelvic armor, the belt, and it's pretty much straightforward, just emphasizing the mechanical lines. And now we are doing the upper legs. Same concept, same color, I'm just darkening up the lines, the mechanical lines, the mech lines. That has a nice charcoal-like effect. And above all, the armor is looking really badass. You know, I don't think it would have worked well if I used a different color, because it doesn't really go well with the ninja, you know? Because when I say ninja, what do you guys get in your head? A person who wears black. So in this case, he may not be wearing black, but he has the essence of a ninja, you know. He has the colors of a ninja. He can easily blend with the shadows, with his armor. So now we're going through the lower legs right here. Nice and simple. You can definitely see the lines now that I've gone over it using black. Or I'm sorry, darker gray. So now here are the shoes. When I was doing this, it was kind of funny. I feel like I was designing the next Air Jordans or something. I don't know. Designing feet is not really my thing, so I kind of have to make this look cool. So now here's the helmet. Here we go. Are you guys ready for this? Same concept, obviously, with everything else, the armor, but it's the helmet. This is pretty much the soul of the mask. And someone just sent me a message on Facebook. Anyways, here it is. Here's the faceplate without the eyes, the optical eyes. And notice how everything is pretty much going into place. Looks badass. You can obviously tell the edges are a lot more emphasized now, because I actually didn't paint on the edges. I didn't do that so that you can actually see it from a distance. And there you go. Here are the eyes. Really looking cool right here. And I also added some details on the red eyes. Here are the weapons, by the way. Again, simplicity. I really didn't want to do anything fancy with the weapons, other than the fact that the swords glow. Alright, I think that's it for the paint. Alright, so now here is the rendered version in ZBrush. Again, this is in ZBrush. The rendering system in ZBrush is not really that great. It's only there for show. Like, it's like a simple render. You know, it takes a button. I haven't brought this into Maya yet, so as you can see, this is what he looks like without his faceplate. Looks really badass. I'll definitely come up with some sort of rig later on to control how he turns on or turns off his helmet. So here's another close-up. Notice the details. Everything is all good to go on ZBrush. And there he is without his helmet. So let's take a look at that again before we actually move on to the other renders. So here he is again. Here's Still Rain, all finished in ZBrush. Again, this is not in Maya. Okay, this is rendered in ZBrush in a turntable. The shaders aren't there. The materials aren't there. Nothing is there except for the finished ZBrush model. It's always important to export or import your ZBrush sculpture into Maya, because guess what? Maya is where the magic happens. You can do so much more in Maya. Not to mention, Maya is pretty much the program that they use if they want it to be in a game, I guess, or in a movie, or somewhere. Okay? Your sculptures or characters cannot stay in ZBrush. You have to learn how to import it to Maya. Alright? So speaking of Maya, I believe we're about to go to Maya. Alright, so here is the rendered turntable on Mental Ray on Maya. Look how beautiful it looks. Notice how I actually added glowing material on the swords, the katanas, the dual katanas he has on the back, as well as the LED lights. Now, what you guys are seeing here, this is the ambient occlusion turntable. Ambient occlusion is pretty much a type of shadow. It's pretty much a type of shadow that exists throughout the details and depths of the character model. So let's take a look at that again. This is what he looks like, all rendered and ready to go. Notice how he's shiny, and if you guys can actually see it, but there's actually some reflections on the armor. I pretty much created a shader called the Fresnel shader. Fresnel is a type of, it's pretty much how much light is reflected onto a surface. We were pretty much taught that in class, and pretty much if you apply that shader to anything in your scene, it will look ultra realistic, as seen right here. It may not look too realistic right now because he's pretty much sitting on a white background, but if I had like an image-based lighting sphere, man, he will fit just right in. Okay, so let's take a look at that again before we head on to the final portion of this video. This is pretty much his final render in Maya. I don't know what else to say. It's just ridiculous what you can do with CG. You know, this is really ridiculous. And if you guys take a look at his face is a different material. I used SSS on the body and the face, so it really has that flesh-like tone to it. And here are the details of the CG character as a whole, using the ambient occlusion. And here it is again with the colored. This is what it looks like, all colored. He's not rigged, by the way, so I can't really animate him. I'm not an animator, by the way, but you know, it's always important to rig your characters so you can make it animatable, if that's a word. So you can definitely send it down to a friend who knows how to animate, and bam, they can animate it for you. This is definitely one of my best characters. I know this is my second character model, but for a first hard surface character, wow, this was amazing. This took several weeks to do because of the armor. You know, it took a while, but it's worth it at the end. Alright, so that's that. And that's it for the rendered turntables. So before we actually end this video, let's take a look at the pictures, the rendered pictures themselves instead of the turntables. Alright, to finish off this second character model, in the name of Still Rain, let's look at the actual renders other than the turntables. So when you guys are doing characters, it's always good to not only have the rendered turntables for people to see in a full 3D 360 view. You guys should also have some sort of still, render it in stills. So here are the renders for Still Rain. This was obviously done in Mental Ray. This was rendered in Mental Ray in Maya 2014. Okay, I pretty much rendered it in different angles and then composited it, and then pretty much combined them all into one image. Why can't I say that word? Composited. So I pretty much composited them all into one image. Yeah, there you go. So now I can say it right. But yeah, this is the finished Still Rain. As you all saw, similar to the turntable, except it's a still image. You even got my signature right there, Juan Caparas, Ryuu, Still Rain Hokkaido. That's the full name of this character, and also the date in which this was done, which was July 31st. So this was actually a long time ago that I finished. So sorry for the delay on that. But anyways, here is the ambient occlusion of this character. You can see all the details. This is also a high-res picture, so we can actually zoom in pretty good, and it still retains the detail. It doesn't go blurry or pixelated, as you all can see. You guys can actually see the blemishes on the face right there, and that's pretty much what he looks like without his faceplate. There you go. See, he's a blind ninja who turned himself into a robot to seek revenge for the one who blinded him. Look at the complexity of the armor. I'm just proud of myself that I did something this epic. This is really epic. I don't know about you guys. This is really detailed. I can't believe I made it. I can't believe I pulled it off. So I really can't wait to see what I can do for my next hard surface character. So here it is again. Here's the ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion, remember, it's a type of shadow that's in the detail. You can actually see the character's detail based on the ambient occlusion. Here's what he looks like in full form, so you guys can get a good look. You got the twin katanas right there, the twin laser katanas with the pointed edge. You got the remote controlled ninja stars, shurikens. They're not really. He doesn't actually have a remote control, but remember what I said a couple minutes ago. He controls them based on the helmet that he's wearing. That's connected to his brain. All right. So that's the ambient occlusion. So now let's look at the more finished render. So here's the textured render, complete with the shaders and the materials. All of the materials are obviously, all of the armor is the same material. Made it nice and shiny, not too shiny of course, because it's gonna look weird, and not too reflective as well, because you really don't want it to look like a mirror. If you guys actually look closer here, his eyes are glowing, as well as the LEDs right here, the LEDs right here on the shoulder, as well as the sword in the back. So yeah, this is what it looks like. It looks really badass. I really can't wait to do. I can't wait what I can do in the future with the stuff that I'm already doing right now. So here it is, textured. Same thing with the ambient occlusion, just with color and material. Looks great. Here's Still Rain. So now let's look at the more stylized render. I actually made a shirt design of this image right here. So if you go, for those of you who are wondering how I got this image or how I rendered it like this, I pretty much took a spotlight and adjusted the angle, the cone angle of illumination, and I pretty much just projected that on top of his head. And as you all know, if it's a spotlight, the way how light illuminates from a spotlight. It's like it does it in such a way that you get results like this, and it really gives it that nice moody badass look. And also this was actually fake. The lens flare, I actually took something from Google and just pasted it onto that and that's what I did. And I pretty much I rearranged the color balance so that it's a bit more red. So that's that. This is a nice image of Still Rain. So here's another nice image. Remember, fake lens flare. And this is what he looks like with stylized lighting without his helmet. So nice and mysterious. I really don't want to reveal most of what he looks like underneath the helmet, but you guys get an idea of the pain that he had to go through. Here's another picture. I think this is actually one of my favorites because you guys can actually see his face entirely. You got the nice blind eye right there. And of course the nice maximized image of his full helmet. Definitely badass. So here's the same image as this, but the back. Also, you guys didn't see me sculpt this, by the way. This is pretty much a separate model that I did in Maya, and I pretty much duplicated it in ZBrush. Right here, you guys see these bars on the spine? Yeah, you guys didn't see me sculpt that, but that's it. It's there for a reason, to make it look cool and make it look fancy and complex, as everything else. And here are some ZBrush renders. Notice how these aren't really as good as the ones in Maya, but here they are. You see how they're so flat compared to Maya? And compared to these. So that's why it's always important to get your ZBrush sculpture or character out to Maya or 3ds Max, okay? ZBrush is only good for sculpting, and that's it. You can't really do anything more to it, okay? And that's that for Still Rain. I don't know what else to say. For those of you who watched this video entirely, thank you for the patience, okay? Thank you for the patience. I'm just glad that some of you actually had the time to watch this whole entire thing with me talking a lot in it. And you know, you guys can also always turn off my voice by muting this video and just watching it if you guys are that annoyed by my voice. But it's all good, you know. Thank you for watching this. I'll definitely have more character models as time goes by. Okay, this is not the end of my CG art. This is the beginning of my CG art. Similar to how I do my masks and videos, this is a new series. This is a whole new breed of EvilSoft 13, Juan Caparas. This is definitely something I really want to do as a job, as a career. Making 3D models for games, for movies, you know, for commercials, whatever they want me to do out there in the industries. This is something I want to do as a job, okay? I don't care what you guys think. But that's that. My throat is actually pretty sore due to me talking a lot. But you know, commentary is always it's always needed in my opinion, so you guys can actually get something from whatever it is I say, hopefully. But that's that for this video. Again, I'll have more character models soon as time goes by. Please wait on that. If you guys haven't already, please like my Facebook fan page. That'll be www.facebook.com/JuanFixtureCaparas. If you guys haven't already as well, please check out my website. That's pretty much my website in which it has all my stuff in it. So that'll be www.JuanFixtureCaparas.com. If you guys haven't already, please follow me on Twitter. You guys will get updates on my art on Twitter 24 hours daily, or whenever I work on my art. That'll be twitter.com/EvilSoft13. And I believe that's all I have to say for that. And also, I would like to apologize that I do not have a Marmoset tool bag render of this character because I messed up again on the geometry. It's way too dense to be imported into that program, and it starts to crash and slow down. So that's quite unfortunate, you know. But anyways, again, if you guys are interested in this character, if you guys are interested in his backstory, his origin, his characteristics, you know, stuff like that, please check out his bio in the description of this video. The link in the description of this video will lead you to my fan page, in which you guys can read the bio for Still Rain. Okay, so please, it's worth a read, you know, why not? Very interesting. Alright, so that'll be it, guys. Thank you for watching this. I appreciate it, okay? Please like, favorite, and share this to your friends if you guys like. Alright? I'll definitely have more videos like this in the future. Alright, I'll see you guys on the next character modeling video.